Hello, everyone. I've heard today that Gulnara is going to talk to us about what is capital. So, Gully, can you tell us what that is?
Sure. Capital is a term that has different meanings in different disciplines. The goal here is to clarify what economists mean when they talk about capital and how this differs from other common uses. So let's go. Capital has been mentioned in earlier videos as a factor of production, using this pretty little picture of the top of the factory. The use of the term capital by an economist refers specifically to the idea of a factor of production that can be used to create output. Generally, we say that there is a stock of capital which is person-made due to a process of accumulation termed investment. This stock provides a capital service, which is used as an input in the production process to construct output. This factor of production we will be discussing is excludable, which means that a firm can exclude another firm from using it. The way to think about this is that there is an enforceable property right about utilizing the item, which prevents others from making use of the input. The excludability of capital is an attribute that gets complicated, and as you will see when we discuss intangible capital, the line between excludable and non-excludable becomes quite important. Often we will also view the capital input as rival, which means that one person or firm's use of it physically prevents another person or firm from using it. This, with excludability, makes capital a private good. This will be true for some capital items, but there are important cases where such goods are not rival. Furthermore, capital is accumulated in some way. There is a process of investment that builds up the stock of capital. However, this is quite a wide-ranging definition. So, to truly understand it, we have to ask how it differs from other factors of production. Capital differs from labor, as labor refers to the time spent producing goods and services by natural persons, as opposed to use of that time doing other things. Furthermore, capital is distinct from natural resources, what is sometimes termed natural capital to make things extra confusing. Natural resources are a set of pre-existing renewable and non-renewable inputs that are extracted and used in the production process, as opposed to a stock of person-made capital that is added to and maintained to provide a stream of capital services. For our purpose, it's also useful to separate this quantity of capital from two other concepts where the word capital is sometimes used: the non-excludable / social ideas and knowledge used in a production process, and the means of financing. Non-excludables ideas and knowledge refer to processes and practices we share and are able to use to produce. This is part of what is termed technology or multi-factor productivity. Means of financing are not themselves a form of capital. Having wealth in bank deposits or shares doesn't correspond to having a productive asset that generates a stream of capital services. However, the two are linked. Financial capital or savings are channeled into physical capital through a process where those who are willing to defer consumption now provide the means for those who have productive investment opportunities to undertake this, insofar as some portion of the return on that investment is shared, the interest rates or dividends. The availability of financial capital helps set the price associated with undertaking physical capital investments by determining the cost of capital. However, this only has value insofar as it leads to a productive investment opportunity taking place. An increase in financial capital due to an increase in the transfer of existing assets between people does nothing to increase physical capital. When thinking about capital items, we can split things into two categories: tangible capital and intangible capital. Tangible capital refers to physical tools used for production, a building, a spade, a computer. These items are clearly rival and excludable and are therefore private capital items in the strictest sense. These items only have use if labor is applied to them at some stage. However, that need not to be a defining characteristic. One day robots may produce output without needing any input or maintenance from labor, but they would still be characterized as physical capital for their owner. The key concept here is that the ownership of the capital item allows the production of a stream of outputs, which can be used to generate an income without the owner sacrificing their time. Intangible capital is similar but different. Examples of intangible capital are a copyright, a patent, research and development expenditure that generates these protected processes, and goodwill that is generated about the firm. Each of these is not a physical item, but it is excludable from other firms and is used as an input to the productive process without the owner sacrificing their own time. In that way, it acts like capital, and so in the more recent statistical guidance for national accounts figures, it has been included. But there are clear fuzzy elements caused by intangible capital items. 1. The capital item may have no value outside of its use by this particular firm, even though for this firm it's very valuable, i.e., Coke's brand is valuable for selling Coke, but won't be too valuable for selling high-end handbags. 2. The capital item may be an idea that cannot be trademarked neatly, making it, in a sense, non-excludable. 3. The capital item might be excludable, but may be non-rival, implying that other firms could use it without reducing its value to the firm that created it. In this case, is it capital for the firm, or has it become some broader concept of knowledge or a renewable natural resource? These are topics for a future video. However, the nature of intangible assets is such that they challenge our understanding of the capital stock and its role in describing economic growth. This naturally leads us to the question of how we add everything together. The first answer that comes to mind is historic cost. In this case, we take the value paid for every asset and add them together. Although this sounds good, we have some issues here. The first one is that there is general price inflation and changes in the relative price or usefulness of an asset type through time. We may try to address this by looking at the cost of replacing the asset. If we are currently using a computer, we could ask how much the same sort of computer would cost and then add together all the items in the same way. However, there was a second issue with historic cost. Assets tend to have a finite useful life, so adding together a bunch of assets that are now no longer useful for producing would not give us a sensible result. There are two solutions here: using the market value of the asset and using the PIM, or perpetual inventory method. The market value is neat because it will capture the price someone would be willing to pay for the asset, and thereby their view of the current value the assets will have. However, most assets do not have an easy to find market value. As a result, for national accounts measures, the focus is usually on the perpetual inventory method. With this method, the asset is taken at its initial cost and depreciated given a fixed expected life. Investment flows into this asset type, gross fixed capital formation, are then added to the capital item and depreciated in the same way. However, that's enough details for today, and thank you all for watching us, and we'll see you again next time.